What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Amir, aka the Magic Man, and this is Paperbacks and Soundtracks Unplugged. Thank y'all for joining me once again, and I really appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button and showing up and showing out for your boy. Remember to pass that show on, Paperbacks and Soundtracks, the podcast. The link is in the description. And share it with your friends, man. I want you guys to help me build this universe. So let's keep it dope and keep it fly, you know what I'm saying? But I posted a video earlier this week, on Monday to be exact, my adventures at East Coast Comic Con, man. I had a great time. And for sure, this is a expo for the collectors, man. There were so many stands and vendors out there with back issue comics, graded comics, grails, just everything, man. So if you got an opportunity to go, I know you definitely left with a lot of dope comic books. They had some really cool figures out there. Also, a lot of great writers and comic book artists. It was really good, man. It was definitely a great event. So check out that video if you haven't. Make sure you click that subscribe button and make sure you hit that like button, man, so I can continue to bring you guys some dope videos. But before we get to my hunts that I had over the past week or so, I want to talk about Corsairs, a comic that I picked up at ChemFest about a month ago. Really cool story, man. There's 3 issues in this comic, so you get your money's worth. I really enjoyed it. It's written by Daniel McNeil, and the art is by Charlie Fab Gobel. And basically in the story, where we come into the story, there was a war that happened, and the universe was now split into 2. So yes, it takes place in outer space, man. So you got me locked in there. But the universe is split into 2 places, or 2 sections, and you have the prime worlds and you have the fringe. The prime worlds are the ones that got the government on their side. They got all the money, they got all the goods, all the food, everything like that. The fringe, they're pretty much on their own. No help from the government, barely enough food and supplies to, keep their people well and good. So what happens when your hand is forced? Basically, you have to resort to doing some things that you might not want to do. And that's what we see in this story. There is a crew of pirates called the Hammerhead, and what they do, and they're led by Captain LaRue, but what they do is they capture ships that are transporting goods to the prime worlds, and they steal all the goods and bring them home to the people in the fringe world. So it's a really dope take on like a Robin Hood, steal from the rich and give to the poor type of situation. Really cool story, a lot of dope action. There's a lot of funny parts in the story. The artwork is really cool. I'm gonna show you some of the pages in here. It's all black and white. I haven't read a lot of comics with black and white artwork, but the ones that I have, which is Corsairs and a story called Black, I really enjoyed it. The shading and the detail in the facial expressions and everything was really on point. But, in the story, you basically need to find out if the prime worlds are going to be able to stop the fringe colonies and the revolutionary crew, the Hammerheads, from capturing their ships and stealing their goods, man. So it's a really dope story. Let me show you a page of the artwork here. Yeah, here we go. You can see a lot of the emotion on the face. Really great shading by Mr. Gobel, man. Really great work all around. The writing, the artwork, everything was really cool. So if you get a chance, go pick up Corsairs. Support your independent comic book artists and writers, man. Good book. Thank you, Mr. McNeil, for letting me get that from you over at ChemFest about a month ago. So with that said, I did some hunting over the past week or so. I did some hunting at East Coast Comic Con. I got some things in the mail that I just want to show you guys really quick. So I picked this up at my local comic book store, Teen Titans number 12, the Dark Knight Metals tie-in. First appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. Now, he's not really one of my favorite characters, but I just wanted to have my Dark Knight's Metal storyline complete. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to have that in my collection. I actually enjoyed Red Death, who is a character. He's Flash and Batman put together in one, and he was a beast in the Dark Knight's Metal story. But, I finally got that first appearance. It's a second print, but it's all good. It's in my collection, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy about that. I also picked up Dead Rabbit #1 from Image Comics. And a funny story about this comic is it actually got pulled off the shelves after issue 2 because there was a bar in New York City that had the same exact name. The name of their bar is Dead Rabbit. So they sued Image Comics for trademark infringement, and now Dead Rabbit is no more. So, Jerry Duggan had to pull his book off the shelf. But, if you run into this, this comic at a store, so like, I'm not really sure if they're supposed to have it or not. But, if you run into it and it's a good price, pick it up. I paid half price for it. The store that I went to had 50% off on everything. So, or at least everything that was back issue, I believe. But anyway, I picked it up half price, so you can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? Dead Rabbit, #1, go get it. I got Captain America #25. This is the first time that Steve Rogers passes on the mantle to Sam Wilson, so that he can continue the greatness of Captain America. So if you saw Endgame, this is no longer spoiler time. So if you saw Endgame, you saw that Steve Rogers passed the shield off to Sam Wilson, and he will be Captain America going forward in the MCU. So this is the first time that it happened in comics right here. I actually have the whole run of Captain America, Sam Wilson. It was a great story by Nick Spencer. Really fun, a lot of action, a lot of deep parts to it also. I just like Falcon or Captain America or Sam Wilson, whatever you want to call him. I like him as a character, man. Really strong-willed and character. No powers at all, and he has no problem using his own too. You know what I'm saying? So I really like Sam Wilson as a character. And this leads me to my next comic that I picked up, homage to Outkast, Stankonia. Marvel was doing hip-hop covers, and this was one of them. Avengers Standoff, Welcome to Pleasant Hill. Really dope comic that I picked up here. I got it for $1, man, so you can't beat it at all. So, I like the hip-hop covers. Maybe one day I'll show you guys a lot of the hip-hop covers that I picked up. I have a lot of them, man. I have a lot of them. Yeah, I didn't get all of them, but I have a lot of them, So I got that actually at East Coast Comic Con. The other ones I got in the mail or I found out in the wild. Another set of books that I picked up at East Coast Comic Con. So, like I said earlier, I really like Sam Wilson, the Falcon, or Captain America, whatever you want to call him. I really enjoy his character, and it's surprising that he only has 2 solo comics. Without counting the Captain America, he only has 2 volumes, man. He has one that was done by Rodney Barnes back in either 2018 or 2017, I'm not sure, but that storyline got cut short. Only like 8 issues came out, so I got to read that and I enjoyed it, but I want more, obviously. So Marvel definitely, hook Falcon up, man. He's a really cool character. But anyway, I found at East Coast Comic Con his volume 1, his first run. This came out in 1983, man. And I got all of them for $10, Cannot beat that, and they're all in really good condition. The comic book seller, he had them in this great, it's like a thicker plastic, for the covering. So I was really happy with this buy, man. I couldn't believe I found it. So now I get to check these out and add these to my Falcon collection. Another story that I picked up at East Coast Comic Con was one that I was so sad that I did not pick up. It was a hidden variant. So I don't think a lot of the comic book stores knew that Venom #7 was going to be a hidden variant, was going to be included in there. But basically the cover, I don't know if you can see, but it has like the tongue hanging out of Eddie Brock / Venom's mouth. The regular cover didn't have it. So they only sent out a limited supply of those comics. So it was like a secret and people were picking them up and I was freaking heartbroken. So I finally got it. I had to pay a little bit of money for it, but I didn't go over my budget at East Coast Comic Con. So I was happy about it. And I picked up a really dope comic there. So that was fun. But another comic that I picked up, it's one that I'm not really familiar with a lot of his writings. It's by Frank Miller. All right. So the first story I ever read of Frank Miller was Dark Knight Returns, and that was a really dope comic. Like, I stopped reading everything when I read that graphic novel. Like, all my books were like piling up, and I dove right into that comic. It was really good. A lot of bubbles on those pages, but a really dope story. I also have on hold at my comic book store Ronin, a trade that he did back in '83. He had a nice little run there, but from the '80s to the '90s, Frank Miller. And this comic that I picked up at East Coast Comic Con is another one of them that he did. So he was kind of responsible for bringing back Daredevil, right? But he also gave Elektra a really great run. A really great story arc. So this is Elektra, the Elektra saga, written by Frank Miller. I got all 4 issues for $10 at East Coast Comic Con. So, you really can't beat that. To be honest with you, they look like they're in great condition, to be honest with you. Like, it's very hard to find comics that have like a black background and not be scratched up. So these are really, really good for $10. I was very excited about picking this up. I can't wait to dive into that, because Frank Miller, he's really deep, yo. He's a very good writer, yo. And he also does the artwork for his stories. So I'm very excited to dive into that, and report it to you guys, when I can. But in the mail last Thursday, I finally received my Night Thrasher artwork from Sanford Green. This is, from my knowledge, it's a one of one. Sanford Green was asking his fans, like, if there were any old school characters that they wanted to see him do artwork on, and people were putting their bids in. And I think he posted on Instagram too, and I actually hit him up on Instagram and told him I would love to see a Night Thrasher drawing by him, and if he did it, I would definitely be the first in line to pick it up. And he did, and he hit me up, man, on Instagram, and he gave me an opportunity to buy it, and I definitely did. I'm so excited. I have a spot for it. It's going right there in that little empty spot right there. So yeah, so whenever you watch the show, you're going to see that in the background. So, try not to be too jealous. But yeah, definitely, I was excited about that. I really like Night Thrasher as a character. He's another one of those guys that are like street level, no powers, just goes out and handles business with his skills and his mind. He's a very capable martial artist. So I would love to see Night Thrasher get a new storyline, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe like a 12 issue like mini series or something. But I mean, honestly, I would love to have my favorite writers and my favorite artists do it. So hey, David F. Walker and Brian Hill, you guys need to figure out how to do this, man. Night Thrasher needs to have a story written by you two. Maybe you guys can split it. One do the first 6, the other do the last 6. And I would love to see Sanford Green and Kahari Randolph work on the artwork together. Maybe split the arcs in 2 like that. And you gotta have Jamal Campbell on the cover, man. Like, could you imagine the covers that Jamal Campbell would do for Night Thrasher? Yo, this dude is a beast. Like, they're all amazing artists, David F. Walker and Sanford Green are working on Bitterroot, which it's just an excellent story. It's killing the game right now. Brian Hill is doing Batman and the Outsiders and American Carnage. He just finished up on Killmonger, so he's a beast over there. Kahari Randolph is working on this new story called Excellence with Image, and the artwork is amazing. Jamal Campbell is working on Naomi. He's doing all the art, the covers, everything for Naomi with David F. Walker. So, guys, please figure it out. Marvel, I know you're probably not going to be watching this for a long time, but if you ever do, the people at Marvel, please, Night Thrasher needs some love, man. Let's bring him back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's it. That's my rant for the day. Thank you for joining me on Paperbacks and Soundtracks Unplugged. East Coast Comic Con was so dope that I want to go to another convention June 29th and June 30th. It's called the Garden State Comic Fest. Yes. So I want to go there and see what other back issues I can find, because it seems like the dudes here in Jersey really, really know how to put together a nice show with these older comic books and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys can join me out there June 29th and 30th. I'll be out there doing my thing, hunting for those books just like you. So yeah, man, thanks for checking me out. This is your boy Amir, aka the Magic Man, and this is Paperbacks and Soundtracks Unplugged, and I'm out.